Përshëndetje Modra, mirë se keni ardhur në Trime podcast.
I'm Bella.
I'm Lejla. Welcome home. Well, look who we have in the studio with us today. The one, the only, the icon herself, Bella. Round of applause, please, round of applause. And in the audience today, we actually have our literal living angel, our Danielle. She is here too with us behind the scenes. It is a real family affair on today's episode. Bella, are you going to tell the people who you are?
Well, as you guys know, I'm Bella, and I am half Albanian, 25% Jamaican, and 25% Guyanese. I've grown up very, how do I say this? Knowing my culture and knowing how to speak my voice. And I have no one else to thank but my mum.
Oh, Bella, please, come on. No, I cannot cry 5 minutes into recording, darling, please. And especially because today has been a bit of a special, well, this whole week has been a little bit of a special week. It's like your last week of school, your last week of year 6, and it's been full of different events that we've been at. You've had your year 6 end of year production, and where have we just come from right now this evening?
My graduation.
And did we all not cry, the three of us?
I hate to say yes, but we did.
Yeah, well, we are so proud of you, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive a little bit deep into how proud we are of you, and you are going to share with us your experience of what it's like to be a mixed heritage Albanian girl. How does that feel?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Why don't we just get straight into it?
Okay.
By the way, for those of you who don't know Bella, to know Bella is to know that she is a natural in front of the camera, but this is her first debut actually in front of the camera like this. You do feature a lot on my Insta, on my TikToks, on my vlogs. So this isn't your first time, but it's your first time officially in front of the camera like this. How does it feel?
It's great.
I'm sure like a lot of people would watch this and be like, well, I want to ask Bella this question. I want to ask Bella this question. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've also got the choice today to ask me some questions too. Yeah. Did you think that was going to happen?
No. I thought I'd just be interviewed and I have to answer. Just act like everything's okay. Like, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Everything's perfect.
This is fine.
No, darling, it's not going to be like that at all. Today, I really just wanted to have a chat with you and just to see what it's like to be you, to be an 11-year-old Albanian girl who comes from a mixed heritage. Tell me a little bit more about your identity, how it feels to be Bella.
It is a lot of the time, and it get very overwhelming, but it's kind of like I know I have my family and they're always there for me when I need them, and I just, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm an 11-year-old, get me out of here.
I think we're a perfect family. What are you saying that we're not?
I'm joking. Yeah, of course we are.
You are definitely a very funny kid, Bella. And as you mentioned, that you are a mix of being Albanian, Guyanese and Jamaican, which isn't something that we come by often in the Albanian community. So it is, it's happening more often now, but it's not something that has happened often before. So tell me what it's like when you think about who you are. What are the first few things that spring to your mind about being Bella?
I would have to say, well, number one, Albania.
Yeah.
Number two, I think one thing that I do a lot is I don't give up.
You don't give up, that's
I
true.
always, perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think about my home life, especially what it's like to have 2 mums, and I couldn't have it any other way. It's just amazing, and it's way more easier talking about girl stuff.
It's way more easy talking about girl stuff in our house, isn't it?
Way
I mean, in every bathroom and every toilet in the house is full of like period pads, tampons. We never stop talking about it. We're always constantly trying to get you ready for the realities of life.
Yes.
And you're probably at the point where you're like, oh my God, please shut up. Please leave me alone. And it's true, Bella. It's so true because you have a really unique life. Not many kids in the Albanian community are like you or live a life like you, where you are not just mixed heritage, but you have two mums that are raising you, and we are essentially a very blended family. So there are so many different facets of your identity, right? So you tell me, do you feel like you're in charge of your own identity, of all these different layers that you have?
I know that I'm always in control of what I do, what I say, how my life goes. There's no one else who controls me but me.
It's true, you are very much in control of your own decisions and your own choices. Why is that important to you?
Because I think I've always been taught that no one else's opinion matters than mine, and no one else can control you.
That's very true. And do you think that that's something you genuinely, truly feel deep down inside?
Yes, of course.
I think so. I think even Dan can attest. Not that anyone can hear Dan, she doesn't have a mic currently. But you are definitely a strong-willed, assertive girl. And you are very vocal, which we love that about you, because that's how we've raised you to be, right? And that's how we want you to continue walking through life as well. We want you to be in charge of your own decisions, in charge of your own actions.
Yeah.
How are you feeling so far?
Great. Like, I'm more chilled.
More chilled. Good. So this was like take your daughter to work day.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel to come to work with your mum?
Interesting.
Why?
Because I don't know how to feel about it.
Oh.
It's very interesting because I didn't think it would happen.
You never thought you'd come on the pod with me? No. Well, here you are now, making your debut before you ever thought it would happen.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? So what is the one thing, right, in our family life that you find is really, really special to you? For example, in our relationships as mother and daughter, and your relationship with Dan, us as a family, what's the most special thing to you?
Just that we're different from other families. And we're just special and unique.
Special and unique. That's true. If I could say one thing about the three of us is we are all very unique, and we all very much are just ourselves, aren't we? And we don't try to fit in elsewhere. That's okay. You can just say what you want. That's fine.
At home, it's home.
Home is home. What makes our home home?
Just like it wouldn't be a home without all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We making the memories that we have is just very. It's like we've made the house have memories.
That's true. We have, haven't we?
Because it helps me feel. It makes me feel safe.
Yeah. And when you think about family, what does that mean to you?
Respect, love, just everything that will make you happy. And even if you do have ups and downs, it's fine. Talk about it. Don't feel you need to hide it. And then, like, just learn from your mistakes. And then, not like be better, but work together as a team to not make anyone upset or just become an improved new person.
Yeah, well done, Bella. That's really wise words that you're giving there. So you mentioned earlier about having two mums, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what it's actually like growing up with two mums? And do people ask you questions about having a family like ours that surprise you?
Yes.
Go on, tell us.
I've been asked multiple times which one is my real mum.
Don't we tell people we're like, yeah, Bella's our IVF baby.
Yeah.
That's what we tell everyone. We say Bella's our IVF baby.
Everyone. I think the question I get the most is, "Who's your real mum?"
Yeah.
And then they say, "Oh, is it Dan?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, it's my mum."
It's my white mum. It's my white mum.
They always think it's Dan.
They always think it's Dan.
And I think another question I get asked is just a lot of the time it's like, oh, what's it like to have two mums? And then I do get a lot of questions about my dad.
Oh, okay. What did they say about your dad?
I say, oh, do you see your dad? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, it's the most descriptive personal questions they ask.
Really?
Oh,
kids are brutal.
One kid asked me, "Oh, how old were you when your parents split up?" It's like, excuse
oh my
me?
God, go straight in for the kill, why don't you? Wow. They're worse than like when you get people at work at lunchtime gossiping.
Yeah.
I know, right? So, listen, you clearly are a very, very confident kid, right? Have you always been this confident?
Not about everything, about myself, not really with everything. I used to not be confident at all with my hair. I do not like my hair. I always wish I had straight hair like all the other girls in my school, because my old school was very very white.
Yeah.
I'll be straightforward.
It was very white. Yeah, that's true. It was.
And only one of my friends was like me. They had afro hair, mixed race, and we would kind of all just, me and her, we would just kind of share the struggles about having afro hair. But now I love my hair so much.
I know. And I think because you're such an emotionally intelligent kid, you tend to feel things a lot deeper than maybe other children your age, don't you? That's very clear. We've just come from your graduation ceremony. You finished year 6. You're about to go into secondary school, year 7. Round of applause, please. Bella. And we are incredibly proud of you. So proud of you. But are you proud of yourself?
Yes, I am. I'm very proud from all the way to the beginning of the year to now. Didn't think I'd become this person that I am now, and in the beginning of the year I was very kind of just talked back a lot. I was rude, but it's something some people need to realise, and I'm not excusing my behaviour, but in my old school that was the only way to survive.
Yeah.
Only way to survive, to be horrible and mean and act like you rule the whole place.
Yeah.
And if you weren't like that, then you were nothing.
Yeah. And this school is different, isn't it? You got to actually be yourself, didn't you? And if there are other young girls like yourself out there listening to you right now, what piece of advice would you give them?
Be yourself. Never be ashamed to be you, because you, just as you are perfect. It's perfect.
I love you so much. Do you know that? I love you and I'm so proud of you. And I have just one more question before you can have the fun. I have two more questions. I lied. One of your middle names is Lydia, right? And I named you that specifically because it means freedom. It means liberty. I literally have freedom tattooed on me, on my hand. All of my work, everything that I do is because I want to create a legacy that surpasses me and that you are proud of, right? I want to create a better world for girls like you. And you are my biggest inspiration for all of the work that I do, right? And it's one of the reasons when I was pregnant with you and I had you, I always used to look at you like you were my piece of freedom, which is why I gave you Lily as one of your middle names. And you do have a lot of independence as a child, probably a lot more than what other kids do. What does that mean to you? What does freedom mean to you?
I think freedom means that you're not being controlled. No one's telling you to do anything you don't want to do, and you don't think that you have to just sit there and be quiet and listen, like nod along, just listen to everything they say. And it's having the choice of, it's literally having a choice of anything that you can do, just free will.
That's so true. Well done, Bob. You're so smart. I love you. One final question, and then you can have all the fun. Okay. What's one wish you have for your future?
I don't want to make you cry, but I want to raise my kids the way you've raised me.
Oh. I love you. I love you, darling. I'm so proud of you. Words can't express how proud I am of you. Do you want the...
Sure.
Yeah, why not, huh? All right. You can get comfy. Get comfy, bub.
I am comfy.
Yeah, get comfy. You don't need to hide your tummy. You can just get comfy, relax, chill. Now it's about to get interesting. Bella is in full control.
So, Mum, you have gone against many of the Albanian rules, culture that was set for women.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that you haven't married and you are not dating an Albanian man, woman person.
Yeah.
And also one of those things is that you are dating a woman.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that you have felt good enough to express your voice and not follow all the rules that have been set?
Well, the truth is, I didn't feel like I could express myself and use my voice for a really long time, even though it seemed like I could use it elsewhere. And I know all you know of me is to be vocal and to be confident. But there was a big period of my life when I didn't feel like that, where I felt scared. Actually, there was a lot of fear. I felt like I couldn't be myself authentically. I felt like the only options were to be married, were to be with a man and to have like your typical heteronormative family, you know, have a husband and have children, even though growing up that was never my dream. But there was so many pressures that are put on women, but then in particular women who do come from other ethnicities and marginalized communities like Albanian women, where the pressure is, if it feels more intense, like if you don't follow this, if you don't adhere to these rules, these expectations that are put on you, then you're almost like ostracized from the community and you're not accepted and you're not, you're seen less than everyone else. And it's crazy, Bella, because me and you are very open, right? We talk a lot, and especially since you've got older, we share a lot more, and I share more stuff with you, about my younger years now than I did before. But when I was young and I was growing up, my life was not like yours. My life was probably the complete opposite, and I didn't have the same freedom that you do, which is why I raise you the way that I raise you, so that you do have that freedom. Literally, your middle name is Lily. Literally, that's why I named you that, because I wanted you to have that freedom. I wanted you to grow completely differently to how I was raised and how I grew up. Now, up until the age of 30, I felt like I was completely masking. I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. So I was just doing anything to fit in, right? Including getting married to a man. I know. It feels like a fever dream at this point. So after I turned 30, and, we had a big life change, didn't we, in our lives? And all of a sudden it was just me and you, and I was raising you on my own. And I realized that how can I show my daughter a different way of life if I'm not living my authentic life, if I'm not living a different way of life, the life that feels true to me? How can I show you a different way if I'm not doing it? Like, right? I have to lead by example. And a huge part of that was my sexuality. A huge part of that was being like, you know what, Lejla, like, you have to admit it. You like girls, you want to date women, you just got to go for it. And that was a big part of it. And I thought I'd cracked it then as well. I was like, yes, I cracked it. I'm gay. Like, that's it. This is why I've been miserable this whole time, right? In fact, do you remember, I didn't even tell you.
Yes.
I didn't even tell. Go on, tell them the story.
So randomly one day, I just came up and asked her, "Mummy, are you a lesbian?"
And I was like, and the funny thing is, I was actually getting ready to go on a date with Dan. Yeah. Do you remember? Literally. And I was like, because I never used to talk to you about my dating life and didn't know anything. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe she just asked me that. How does she know that? And then I was like, we'll talk about this when I get back. And I just left you with Diora, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I was like, bye. But yes, you picked it up. And that's how in tune we are with each other, isn't it? You already picked it up before I even had a chance to tell you. I thought that that was going to be my aha moment. Me, you know, coming out as gay. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. I've cracked it. But what I didn't realize that I'd been running away from so much, you know, from all this stuff that I needed to process myself. And that was my responsibility. I had to work on that myself. And a big part of that was my identity, my heritage, my culture. And I think when you're a child and you carry so much things from your childhood and from your past, it's hard to process that, Bob. It's hard to do it face on. And thankfully, you're never going to have to feel that. But I got to a point where I was like, oh, I can't move on. I can't, you know, there's my recovery journey, my healing journey is not doing well. And I realized it's because like I was running away from things and I didn't need to run away from them. And a big part was actually who I am. And that is an Albanian woman who's a feminist, who's a lesbian, who's never dated in the culture. Do you know what I mean? You know, there was all these different assets to my identity that I was running away from when instead I should have a long time ago embraced all of them and loved all of those parts about me, right? But it took me a long time to get there. It took me a very long time to get there. And that was why we're here doing Trime now, me and Leo, and now you're here today as my co-host. A really good one, by the way. Look how quickly you got me talking. I don't think some grown adult interviewers have got me talking like you have today. That's why we're here today. Trime is like a manifestation of all those different parts of me. And Leo is here bringing all those different parts of herself to it as well. And you are a huge part of that. You are one of the main parts of who I am. So this is just a manifestation of all those things.
Obviously, as we covered, you've never dated inside the culture.
Yeah.
And if you ever did, or you would, which I know you wouldn't, but...
Am I going to have to cut some stuff out? Cool, darling.
How do you think your life would be now if you had dated inside the
Oh,
culture?
that's a good question. Wow, Bella. That's a really good... My life would be very different. It would be very much like trad wife life. Think of Nana. It would be a lot more like that. It'd be a lot more like, even if I wasn't just the one solely staying at home to clean, cook, look after the children, if I was working, I'd be working, coming home, cooking, cleaning, looking after the children. That's what my life probably would have been if I had adhered to those cultural expectations, especially because I'm a bit older. Like I'm 36, you know. Really? So back then we didn't have any of these freedoms, you know. It was a lot more harder for girls to speak up, to voice what they're really thinking and the things that they really want. And then when we did, they just said we were trouble, we were rebelling, you know, we're betraying everyone, we're just being nuisance. And that wasn't the truth. We were just trying to find our way and trying to navigate being part of a culture that we love, but we don't adhere to these expectations. So yeah, my life would be very, very different. I'd probably be a lot more quieter, less confident. I definitely wouldn't be here covered in tattoos. That's for sure. So my life would be very different.
Not in your life would be so much different, you're right. And then even my life would be different. I think like Leo's life would be different. Dan's life would definitely be different.
Yeah, that's true.
I think everyone that you've impacted over the last years, their lives would be different as well, because you weren't there to support them.
By the way, these questions, this isn't script. This is like this is a really old story that either myself or Leo read out. This is just for show.
Yeah, there's no questions.
Bella has not written these questions. I have not written these questions. These are all from Bella's head.
You get a lot of hate comments.
That's true, we do.
A lot.
We do.
Especially people telling you that, oh, you hate men.
Yeah,
and
that's true. We do.
Men are like that.
Yeah, that's true.
What about your brothers?
Yeah.
And what would you tell those hate comments?
Oh, which ones are we going to go for?
Solely just the one where you hating on men.
Me hating all men. It's a very definitive, absolute statement to make. I hate all men. I think when we say statements like that, it's talking about the system, and men are a big part of that. The patriarchy, misogyny, men are a big part of that. They benefit from it. They're the biggest enablers of it. And I know probably a lot of people are going to listen to this and be like, you're talking to an 11-year-old. Bella understands all of this. Yeah. She already understands all of this. So that's why I talk to Bella like properly, and I don't baby her. And when we, even as feminists, when we say those statements like, I hate all men, it's the system that they are a part of, as well as their violence and abuse and misogyny that they inflict on mainly women and girls, that we're talking and that we really want to bring to the forefront and hold men accountable for the abuse and violence they're subjecting onto women and girls.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where people say not all men. Yeah, but let's say I gave you a box of cookies and I said that some of them are made out of crap, then actual cookie doughs, you would be wary of the entire box, right?
Absolutely.
Because women try and make themselves wary of all men due to abuse, SA, violence against women and girls. And it's just, yeah, we know not all men, but we're just trying to keep ourselves safe.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you have to look at the statement like not all men, right? But the men who aren't like that, they're not offended by what we say. Why would they be? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're not the bad cookies in the box. They know they're good cookies, even though we use that term good men loosely, because it's not a good man, just a decent human being. And that's why when we say not all men, and people are like, oh, but it's not all men, or you hate all men. But it is all men, because until all men actively participate in dismantling the violent systems that oppress women, all men benefit from it. So the argument when people say not all men or you hate all men, it's null and void. But in particular with me, it holds no weight, no ground whatsoever.
That's a very good point to make. Is you have made multiple videos, documentaries about violence against women and girls, and I just want to say, what made you realise that you would start all of it and you make a difference, which you definitely have?
What made me start it? I was wanting the space and I couldn't find it, and it didn't exist. And no matter where I looked, no matter where I searched, I felt very alone with it, and I felt very lonely in that pain, right? And you know me, what's one of my biggest mottos in life? Where there's a will,
there's a way.
And where there isn't a way,
we will find a way.
Exactly. And I got to a point where I was just sick of feeling alone, and I thought, I have to find someone else out there that feels like me. And that was one of the reasons why I started making the videos that I did. And obviously I wasn't alone. That's why those videos went viral, and that's why this work goes viral now, because I'm not the only person that feels like it. Sometimes when you can't see the change, you have to be the change, and you have to have enough courage and enough guts to be at the forefront of change like that. And it's definitely not easy. And it was one of the reasons why we called it Trime, because it literally means courage, bravery. And it takes a lot of bravery to be authentic, speak your truth, be yourself, feel absolute complete freedom and autonomy over the decisions and choices that you make in your life. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of guts. And that's what I wanted to create in my life. Remember I was saying earlier about how can I create this life for you if I'm not living it myself? So how can I want this space? It doesn't exist, right? I want it desperately, but I have the power to create it. We all do. I'm not special and unique. Every woman and girl has this in them. They just need to tap into it.
Yeah.
So it might look like, it's getting on a platform, getting on a podcast. It's like, oh my God, wow, look what they're doing. But every woman and girl has this in them. And to me, you are a shining example of that, because you are 11 and you are so confident. You are so wise. You're so smart. So emotionally intelligent. I will be here all day. I've got a list as long as my arm of all the so's. But you are an actual physical living proof of what happens when girls from a really young age believe in themselves.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And I agree with all of that. Of course, you started your podcast nearly a year ago.
Yeah, it's nearly a year ago.
And you were finding someone else to help you with the podcast. You found Leo, and both being Albanian women, it's very straightforward. But what is it like to be Albanian?
That's a really good question. What is it like to be Albanian? It's one of the most beautiful parts of my identity. Our heritage is so rich and beautiful. It's definitely been clouded by all of these other awful things that have been enabled in our community. But my love for being Albanian is the reason why I'm doing this. So for me, what it's like to be Albanian is almost like to be a little bit of it's very unique. Very unique, because we don't actually fit in many places, right? Our culture is very much like South Asian cultures or Afro-Caribbean cultures. We have very, very similar traditions and practices, and the way that we are like collectivists and communities and how we live as families. But we don't look like them. We look like the white people in the West, right? But our culture's nothing like the white people in the West. So it's like there's almost no space for us sometimes. And that's why it's important to have these spaces for women in our community, because where they might have felt like they had nowhere to go before, they now have here, right? They have somewhere where they can be like, I belong here, I fit in here, this is my community. No one's ever asked me that before. You know that. You're the first person that's asked me, what does it mean to be Albanian? And maybe I'm going to have to take that away and think about it and reflect on that. That was a really good question. You've given me something to go away and think about.
I think because Albania and Kosovo is definitely not a very well-known country. And you don't really find loads of people, well, I mean, not all together, who are from Albania and Kosovo.
Yeah.
There's loads scattered around the world, especially after the war.
Yeah.
But there are also loads still living in Albania and Kosovo. And I think if we were to ever move to Albania or Kosovo, how do you think we would live there, if you know what I mean?
Well, do you remember what it was like when we went last year? What did I keep saying? How much it had changed?
Yeah, you said how much it changed, and from where it used to be.
Yeah. Remember, and I was like, oh my God, things are so different. And I was shocked at how much everyone back home had progressed. And us here in the diaspora had like stayed the same. And that was the first time I'd actually seen home as a space that I could live in if I wanted to, if I chose to, you know, that might actually be a safe place to live in for many different reasons. I think if we were to go back, we'd probably be able to connect with our roots more, with our Kosovo and Albanian roots. Yeah, I think that's probably what we would do. Yeah.
Very good answer. And I think that is 100% what we would do, because it's very, very, very much changed from how you used to say it, and from what I've heard it has changed, especially because we went there during Pride Month, and they even had a celebration.
That's true, they did.
And then even you and Leo this year went there during Pride Month and went to the festivals that they had. I think probably the last question that I have for you is, you've made such an impact on everyone's lives, and how do you feel?
Proud. I'm proud because you've come to many different work days with me, and you've seen me in many different work settings, but this is the most intimate one, right? You've never actually asked me these questions, these like personal questions before about my work. And to have my own daughter ask me these questions, I feel really, really proud. Because I'm seeing everything that I'm working hard for is happening. It's not a distant dream or something that's going to happen in the future. It's already here. And I'm really proud. And you're the biggest part of that.
I just have a few final words. I'm so proud of you, Mum.
I love you, darling, so much.
I'm so proud from where you've become since you and Dad split up. From now, you've changed so much, and I look back and I think of the little girl that I used to be, and even when you were younger, and how we have grown together.
We have grown together, haven't we? Who we were 6 years ago, like I don't even recognise those versions of us.
6 years ago, hear me thinking it's 4.
No,
Time
darling,
flies by.
6 years ago. It was 6 years ago in October. Yeah, we've done a lot in 6 years. We spent 3 years just the two of us. Then Dan came into our life.
Oh my God, Dad's been here for 3 years. Stop.
3 years. But doesn't it feel like it was never different, right? It feels like we've always been like this. So even though those beginning days were really hard and they were hard to adjust, you know, you having to watch your parents separate, and I get that when you're 5 and you don't really understand the world, it feels like it's the worst thing and it's heartbreaking, it's turmoil. But we had each other, and we love each other, and we always trusted and we felt safe with each other, right?
Yeah, because again, when I look back and I think 6 years ago, didn't know Dan, never met her, and then now I can't imagine a life without her. I feel like she's been here since the day that I was born, and even though she was, I feel like she's always been silently watching.
You think? Yeah. I think so too.
Guardian angel until she actually came.
A literal angel. Yeah. It's true, right? It's true. We love you, even though you're here at BTS and they can't see you. Just know that we love you. Even though those beginning days were tough, me and you were made of tougher things. And I always knew that our future was going to be way brighter, better, more loving, safer. And everything I said I would do. Did I do it? Did I do it?
Did everything.
I did it all, didn't I? I said, didn't I? All the things I said. No, Bella, just please be patient with me. I'm going to make sure we get to certain places in our lives. And that's why I say that you are one of my biggest reasons for doing this.
Oh yeah, our TikTok famous, and I told my friends that you're famous on TikTok.
You told your friends, oh yeah, when we left your school early, it's like, oh, bye guys, I'm just going to go record a podcast. My mum's got her own podcast.
Yeah.
And then the Uber came and it was a big Mercedes and just whisked us away.
I didn't even think about that. Oh,
It's okay. Yeah, the Uber came and it whisked us away in this big silver Mercedes, and it just looked like you have the superstar lifestyle.
it's been an amazing time.
Have you had a good time?
Great time.
Good. Now do you see what your mum gets up to when she comes to the studio? Right? I wish, one of the final things I'll say before we leave, because you get to see me in these spaces, I wish I got to see you at school. Because I feel like that's a part of your life that we don't get to see. Like, you get to see us at work, you get to go to Dan's work, you get to come to work with me, but we don't get to see you at school. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall just to watch you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've told my friends that I've recorded a podcast. My mum's going to post it, going to get 1 million views.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Petition to get Bella's episode 1 million views.
Yeah, everyone sign it.
So, Bella, you've had all the fun and control. I'm going to ask you the final question. What is the most important thing that other mothers and daughters should be doing if they're not already doing in their relationships? Trust.
Tell each other things.
Mm.
I think it's sad that not all children get that with their parents, and I think it's definitely one of the most important things you have to have with your parents. And again, it's sad that not all parents give the kids that opportunity, and nowhere near is it the kid's fault. And I think it's just parents who raise their kids like that are going to raise the most sneakiest kids, and they will eventually distance themselves because they can't feel safe around their parents.
Wow. And that is exactly that. Well, Bella, it has been a dream to have you on the pod today. I think you are the most perfect host. And I'm so privileged that we got to share you with the whole Trime community today.